everyone, bienvenidos. My name is Norberto Goldberg, and I'm excited to be here with the Brooklyn Public Library today, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. Today's celebration is brought to you by Apple Bank, who supports the World Language Series for the Brooklyn Public Library. We would like to thank Apple Bank for their support. Muchas gracias, Apple Bank. El Banco de la Manzana. Today I will be taking you on a trip to introduce you to different instruments and rhythms from Latin America. Even though this is a virtual journey, I hope you'll join me in playing along to some of these rhythms. The instrument I just played is called the djembe. It's a drum from West Africa. The djembe is used for many types of purposes, including celebrations, religious observances, and just for entertainment, for fun. And very often it's accompanied by dancing, so people are dancing, playing the djembe and different other drums to enjoy themselves or to celebrate a certain occasion. It's important to mention that many of the rhythms we'll be talking about, the rhythms and the instruments, have African roots. That's why I began with the djembe. So the djembe is a drum, and like most drums, it has a membrane, a skin, and it has a wooden body. And by playing on the skin, by striking it, you are able to create different sounds. So when you hit an instrument, that instrument is called percussion. You can either hit it, shake it, or scrape it. And those are the three ways that sounds are created on percussion instruments. On the djembe, we have the bass sound by hitting the middle of the drum. We have an open tone, and a more accented sound, sharper, louder, called the slap. And by combining the three different sounds into a pattern, keeping the beat, you are able to play. It's very important as percussionists to be able to keep the beat, a steady beat. And there are many ways to develop that, so I want you at home to join me in working on some of these exercises to keep the beat. So our bodies are percussion instruments. We can make different sounds just by clapping our hands, hitting our laps, all kinds of different ways to create sounds with our bodies. Of course, the voice. But in order to be a percussion instrument, something has to be hit. So let's try this. We clap twice, and we play on our laps twice. All right? 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Clap, lap, lap, clap, clap, lap, lap. Now we're creating a pattern which repeats over a beat. Lap, lap, clap, clap, foot, foot, clap, lap, lap, clap, clap, foot, foot, clap. Very good. And now let's try to make it a little faster. Change the pattern slightly. So we do lap, lap, clap, clap, lap, lap, clap, lap, lap, clap, clap, lap, lap, clap. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lap, lap, clap. A little faster. Very good. One instrument related to the djembe is the conga drum, or the tumbadora in Spanish. It's similar to the djembe in the way it's played, but also has different techniques. It's originating from Cuba, but it's been developed and now played all around the world. Very often played for salsa music, but it can be played on any kinds of music. It's a very versatile instrument used in many different types of rhythms. So, similar to the djembe, we have the bass tone, We have the open tone and the slaps. And again, by combining these three different rhythms, the three different sounds, we can create some cool patterns. Also, there's different hand positions where you're playing with the fingers and the palm, which are part of the conga drum technique. So this is called the tumbao rhythm. The tumbao is the main rhythm used in a lot of Latin American music, Afro-Cuban style music, salsa, things like mambo, cha-cha-cha, and other types of rhythms like that. So here's the tumbao. This will actually go with the claves and the güiro and other instruments that I'll be talking about shortly. Sometimes you can add play two conga drums together for a slightly different sound. Notice this is a high sound and this is a lower sound. Pitch. That's the conga drums. Another instrument of Cuban origin are the bongos, los bongos. These are two different drums, two different sizes, but they're joined together. You have the high-pitched sound, the smaller drum, and the lower-pitched drum, the bigger drum. And here again, different sounds are made by playing different parts of the drum and by playing with different hand positions. So here's a high sound, kind of a muted sound, open sound, and a lower sound. And again, we're creating a rhythmic pattern. This one is called martillo, which means a hammer. Look how I'm playing it and see if we can figure out why it's called el martillo. So here's the el martillo. And that's the basic pattern for the bongo used in salsa and other types of Afro-Cuban influenced music. A little faster. timbales, los timbales. Another Cuban instrument. These are metal shells, 2 different drums, one higher pitched, one lower pitched, different types of cowbells, all make the timbales a very cool instrument in the salsa percussion section, using a lot of different styles and played in many different ways. As you saw, I can make a lot of different sounds on the 2 drums. I add the cowbells to make the rhythm even more interesting. You can also play on the sides of the drums, called cáscara or paila. And also playing on the cowbells. And then play the higher pitched called the cha-cha cowbell. And this, along with the conga drums and the bongo drums, the timbales, as part of the salsa percussion section, again using Afro-Cuban music, and together with the maracas, the claves, make for a great percussion section, in addition to whatever instruments are played in the salsa orchestra. Percussion instruments need to be hit in order to make a sound. One simple instrument that has a very, very important job is called the claves. 2 pieces of wood struck together to make a rhythm. The clave rhythm is very important because it sets the rhythmic direction for the music. 3 strokes in the first part, 2 in the second part. You can also change the direction of the clave starting with the second measure. The second part, the 2 strokes, sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Clap along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba, ba, ba. And you can change it, make it louder or softer, make it faster or slower. Let's try different claves. Slightly different shape. This is more of a Cuban style clave. Just 2 pieces of wood struck together. Also, special clave used in rumba from Cuba sounds like this. During certain parts of the music, when the music gets a little louder, the bongocero picks up the campana, which means a bell. This is also called a cowbell. Why is it called a cowbell? Think about it. Very often the cows would have these bells around their necks with these clappers inside, and when they moved, this made a sound, and the farmers would be able to find out where the cows were. If they got lost, they could hear the cows. They also put them on the goats, but it remained the cowbell. So the bongocero picks up the cowbell at certain parts of the song when it gets really loud, when the horns or the brass are playing, and he plays a similar pattern like this. And this is related also to the clave pattern, which I showed you before. See if you could try to clap along. 1, 2, 3, 4. can play it faster. La campana. Cuban music is very, very sophisticated. It has many different types of rhythms, many different types of instruments. One really cool instrument that was developed is actually made from the jawbone of a donkey. So when the jawbone was struck, the teeth would rattle. So in order to save the donkeys, they created this instrument called the vibraslap, which is a ball, a little sound chamber with basically the teeth inside that vibrate. And by striking the ball, the vibrations go through this metal rod, which make this go really, really fast up and down, creating this rattling sound. When you stop the ball, you stop the vibrations. Thereby stopping the sound. Aside from hitting, shaking and scraping are two other ways of making percussion sounds. Here's a percussion instrument, a shaker, and by shaking it like this, we are able to make a long sound. And the ability to make long sounds and short sounds gives us a way to make special patterns. And this is a pod that grows on trees in tropical climates. Trees have hundreds of these, and when they fall down, we're able to pick them up and use them as percussion instruments. A percussion present from nature. And there are many different types of shakers or rattles. Some of them are made from wood, bamboo. This one is the pods. This is a little wooden shaker, basically a little tube. And again, we're able to shake it to create a rhythmic pattern. Combine that with a plastic shaker, this little egg, for two different sounds together. So we can make a long sound or a short sound. Long, short, long, short, short, long, short, short, long, short, short, long. Latin America has some very cool shakers. This is the maracas, used in Afro-Cuban music and salsa, used in Venezuela. A lot of different countries use the maracas. And here we have two basic globes with handles on them, and we can play different patterns. Las maracas. Here's some interesting shakers from Africa. These are basket shakers woven from straw with a little piece of gourd at the bottom, and they're filled with either pebbles or shells or little beads. And as you can see, I can make different rhythms just by hitting the shakers in a certain way, using that sound, that sharp sound. And in Brazil, we have the ganza, also different shakers, sometimes made out of plastic or metal for a samba. And one instrument from Africa that's also used in Afro-Cuban music is the shekere. It's a shaker also, but it's also struck at the bottom for that deep sound. So by combining a shaking motion with the hitting, you get some very interesting rhythms. And then we have scraping instruments, like the güiro. The güiro is also made out of a gourd and has these notches cut into it. And let's see, we'll get this scraper here. And basically, by rubbing it or scraping it, you get that sound. So notice a lot of different instruments that grow around people in their environment are then used for percussion. The güiro. Here's another güiro made out of bamboo, slightly different sound. And yet another one made out of metal. So this is a scraper also. Another side for a different sound, and it's also a shaker. Brazil is the largest country in South America, and it has many types of rhythms and many types of percussion instruments. Percussion plays a very big part of life in Brazilian culture. One instrument that's used in the Carnaval, which is a yearly celebration, takes place around February, is the tamborim. Tamborim means small drum. Now, in Brazil, they speak Portuguese, not Spanish, but it is a South American country. The tamborim is played with a stick and the finger inside. Tamborim from Brazil. Another cool Brazilian instrument is the agogo. Agogo bells are 3 different pitched cowbells. Sometimes they could be 2 or 4 or 5. This one has 3 and has 3 different pitches: high pitch, middle, and low. And by combining these pitches into a rhythmic pattern, you get something like this. Let's try a little experiment. Close your eyes and see if you can determine which pitch is which. If this is high, if this is low, or middle. All right, this is going to be a hearing test. Very important for musicians. All right, let's try this. Close your eyes. Which pitch is this? If you said low, you were right. It's the low pitch. All right, close your eyes again. Which one is this? Don't open them yet. Which one is this? Okay, it's the high pitch. Low pitch and high pitch. Okay, one more. Close your eyes. Which one is this? Okay, which one is it? Yes, the middle. High, low, and middle. The go-go bells from Brazil. And then we have one of the most exciting and unusual instruments in all of percussion, also originating from Brazil, with roots in Africa, is the cuica. Cuica is a drum, has a skin also, but this is a drum with a secret. What is the secret, you may ask? Inside the drum there's a little bamboo stick that's attached to the skin, and by rubbing the stick with a moist cloth, you get this kind of sound. Almost like a human voice. This can sound like a lot of different animals too. By pressing on the skin, you're making it higher and tighter, and you can change the pitch. What animal is this? Donkey! Yes! How about this one? Maybe a pig? Some monkeys make that sound. So the cuica from Brazil can imitate a lot of different sounds from nature. We have the rain. There's a rain stick in South America. Sometimes when it rains, the sky gets dark and the clouds come out, and all of a sudden you have thunder. And then after the rain stops, the birds come to sing. Many different birds, including the woodpecker, we have that other woodpecker here, and we have little raindrops falling on the puddle. Another one. Sometimes we have little frogs in the ponds. frog from Puerto Rico called the coqui. And we have little turtles. See this turtle? It's a flying turtle. Have you ever seen a flying turtle before? Although percussion instruments are usually used to keep a beat, sometimes they make some really cool sounds, which are used as sound effects in movies or cartoons. I'm sure you've heard this one before. And then some great instruments from nature. These are pods. And again, these are not really for keeping a beat, it's more for us to create a certain atmosphere or sound. You can combine that with this. This has beautiful shells around a coconut. And notice again how the environment, things that grow around people, things that people find where they live, can be used as percussion instruments. And one more instrument used as a sound effect called a flexotone. By pressing on this, you're making it tighter and looser and able to change the sound. The flexotone. Now we're going to conclude our presentation with a little conga. Conga is a rhythm from Cuba and is played in the comparsas, the big parades also, kind of like the carnival from Brazil, accompanied by many types of drums and bells and percussion instruments. The conga is a very interesting dance also danced around the world. Very simple to do. And I'd like you guys at home to join me. So I'm going to show you how it goes. Very easy. Alright? So it's 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. 3 steps, 1 kick. Now I'm doing it towards you. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, and the conga, right, the rhythm sounds like this. I'm going to play this one on the djembe because I can put this. Alright, I'm going to play the conga rhythm on the djembe, and you can hopefully do this at home. Remember, 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, kick. A little faster. Enjoyed our trip together to South America and Latin America and the Caribbean, learning about different percussion instruments and the rhythms, of course also talking about African influence. I really hope you enjoyed yourself and learned something too. You can also drop me a line at norbertogoldberg.com. That's my website. I look forward to hearing from you. Tell me what you thought about this, what you learned. If there's anything else you'd like to know, I hope to be in touch. Thank you again to Urban Stages for having this presentation and the Brooklyn Public Library. Hasta luego!